The thumbnail says it all. Which toilet would you choose to live in? A toilet full of waste or a nice clean toilet? It has been said koi are swimming in a toilet as all their waste is in the pond with them. They have no loo to flush it away. It's all down to the koi keeper to remove that waste for them. But, and it's a big but, the koi don't get a choice of which pond to live in. They are stuck with the koi keeper's choice of toilet or koi pond. If the koi keeper keeps the pond clean of waste, great, they thrive. But if they leave the waste until it becomes a toxic soup, your koi will be struggling to survive in. You need to stop keeping water and start keeping a koi sewage treatment plant. Everyone says in koi keeping, you keep water, not koi. But the real game changer for me was when I stopped thinking about keeping water and started treating the pond as a koi sewerage plant on an industrial scale, I might add. So you need to start thinking of your pond filter as a life support system for your koi, removing all the waste from the pond. You can keep the water nice and gin clear and still ignore the waste, which is what I was guilty of, and my koi paid the price. Once I changed my focus onto the waste, my pond water quality improved dramatically and my koi's health improved along with it. Dealing with the waste is far more important to keep the water safe for your koi. Waste matters more than you think. Let the nightmare begin. If left unchecked, the waste will accumulate and then it goes mouldy and forms a toxic soup, which is then a breeding ground for bad bacteria to thrive in. Once this happens, your koi will start to fall ill with all sorts of different issues, all down to your poor koi husbandry due to the lack of koi pond maintenance and the accumulation of all the waste products in the pond. It's not the fault of the koi. The koi are just living in the pond, or in some sad cases, dying in the pond. Who is responsible for the pond filter? You, the koi keeper, and me. The buck stops with us. The sole purpose of a pond filter is to support the koi in the ponds so they live happy, healthy lives. This describes what it does. So calling it a life support system for me makes sense. If your life support system fails for your koi, they die. Simple. Maintaining the koi's life support system should be the #1 priority of every koi keeper. Get this wrong and your koi will die. Get it right and your koi will live happily ever after. We can all believe in fairy tales, and it is, after all, Christmas. Please hit the like button as it encourages me to make more videos, but you only see the tip of the iceberg. The script takes about 3 days to write and think about, and the editing takes about another day, so 4 days in all to make a 20-minute video. You cannot do this unless you are very passionate about a subject, so please hit the like and comment, as your support makes a huge difference to the YouTube ratings and who they push out the video to. Thank you. The life support system is all about removing and processing waste, which includes koi poo, food waste, ammonia, chemicals, protein, leaves in the pond, etc. So pond maintenance is an essential part of koi keeping. This is done mainly in 2 ways: mechanically to remove the bigger waste particles that are trapped and then washed out of the system, automatically or by hand; biologically to treat the waste ammonia and nitrite to make the water safe for the koi. My koi pond systems are old school and have been upgraded to sieves to act as a pre-filter for the mechanical filtration. which I use a filter mat to remove the fine particles from the water column. In the height of the summer, I do this twice a day. Then once a month, I remove the screens and spray off the rubbish off the back of the screens. It takes all of 5 minutes to wash off the waste of the 2 filter mats, a small price to pay for a thriving koi. Check out this year's fry if you want to see the results of thriving koi fry. I will put a link up here somewhere, and it's well worth the effort. But you can't really say 39 cm is really a fry. The third way is protein skimming, which I use on the main pond as a clarity protein skimmer. These are great at removing proteins like foam on the water, POC, particulate organic carbon, very fine bits of waste, and DOC, dissolved organic carbon, again finer bits of waste in the water column. I also adjust my feeding by looking at the waste in the sieve. If there are full pellets in the sieve, the pellets are getting into the sieve before the koi can eat them, or want to eat them. So I reduce the feeding until there are no koi pellets in the sieve. I'm a great believer in a little and often when feeding koi, so an auto feeder is the ideal way to go. I use a Fishmate P7000, so good I have 3 of them on a frequent feed setting. One feed is about 10 grams. You can set the number of feeds a day and increase the number of feeds per feed. A like, a share, a comment, a question all help with the YouTube ratings. Pond maintenance is the unglamorous side of koi keeping, so it gets little press and is the forgotten part of koi keeping. Keep on top of it and you have a healthy pond. But it's a very essential part of koi keeping, which is often overlooked in winter. Once you have worked out your pond maintenance schedule to suit you, to deal with removing the waste from the koi's life support system, keep it up even in winter. You can, of course, reduce the frequency of the maintenance as the amount of waste the koi produce is less. But do not stop it altogether. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Autumn leaves can be a problem as they release ammonia as they break down, so remove them from the pond system with a net or a pond hoover. Yes, it's a pain going out in the freezing cold conditions, but a pair of thermal waterproof gloves are money well spent, in my humble opinion. Think of your pond as an agreement that you have with your koi. They look pretty in the pond, and you, the koi keeper, do all the hard work, maintaining it safe for them to swim in. Would you have taken up a koi keeping if you had to sign a written contract first, that you would do all the pond building, the maintenance, work in freezing water, feed expensive koi food, spend a fortune on treatments and water conditioners, and pay koi tax on all your equipment? Now the koi has to agree to look pretty swimming in the pond. Please put your honest answer in the comments below. So to recap, you need to stop keeping water and start keeping a koi sewerage plant. You need to start thinking of your pond filter as a life support system for your koi, removing all the waste from the pond. As a result, the koi will live happily ever after. Well, we can all believe in fairy tales. It is Christmas time after all. No expense has been spared in this Christmas extravaganza. Merry Christmas to you all, and a happy koi keeping new year in 2025. Please stop and say a prayer for those people who are looking after terminally ill loved ones or who have lost a loved one at this time of year. Greetings and joy are far from their thoughts, so a kind gesture, a hug, a thinking of you, I will pray for you, can mean so much more than ho, ho, ho.